Our next question sent to CornyDriveThru at gmail.com from Justin in West Virginia.
See? West Virginia.
What am I seeing there? What's the point?
I mentioned it before, and there they are again.
I wanted Jim to give his opinion.
There's some fine people in West Virginia. We'll talk about one of them later on.
I wanted Jim to give his opinion on AEW referee Aubrey Edwards saying on Instagram to a fan that any tag above the waist, backslap or no, is a legal tag. She said this to a fan who questioned the nature of the tag team match rules, and to have the exact quote, he put a image here. So someone, maybe this was you, the name is Kentucky Dankmaker. Can we do something about all the backslap tags? Shit's not legal, but AEW is pretty lax on the rules. Almost like kayfabe isn't a thing. You gotta have rules to have quality heels. This is where AEW is missing the mark. Pun intended.
There you go.
Referee Aubrey replied, "It's a legal tag if the tag is above the waist."
Okay.
To which Kentucky Dankmaker replied, oh, go ahead.
Who says? Where did she get, where has that ever been a thing? Where was that written down? In what rule book? Where was it ever announced? These are the questions I have, but she's been told this by one of the other knuckleheads in the company, or she made it up right there, sitting there out of her ass on her own. But no, that's never been a thing ever in wrestling. You can't fucking tag somebody at the top of somebody's fucking head, just like you can't tag the tip of their toe or slap them on the back. If it had been a thing that you could do, wouldn't people have been doing it? Until like fucking 5 years ago when everybody just said, fuck it. There's no rhyme or reason to any of this shit. The previous 125 years, people wouldn't have been doing it. But I'm sorry. I apologize. Referee Aubrey Edwards knows much more about wrestling than I do. Because after all, look at the difference in our experience level. Look at the difference in just the length of our involvement in wrestling. She's been around much longer than me and at a much higher level and in many more companies and operated her own training programs and run her own businesses and worked with the absolute best that the industry has had to offer over the past 50 years, much more than I have. So who am I to tell referee Aubrey the rules of wrestling?
What are other absolute tag team rules that have to be there for it to be real tag team wrestling in your eyes? Is the tag rope a necessary thing or just a nice thing? What do you think?
No, the tag rope is nice, and it does add an element of legitimacy and rules and sportingness to the contest. But for the territories that didn't use a tag rope, it was still very simple. Your one hand has to be on the turnbuckle to signify that you are in your corner. That's the same thing as holding the tag rope. The tag rope was what? A foot long, 2 feet long, and tied to the turnbuckle. So you have to be in your corner, either holding the tag rope or having your hand on the top of the turnbuckle signifies that. That's why so many times, if you go back and look, and I mean, of course, as long as a guy was obviously visually standing in the corner and they get the hot tag, especially, nobody's going to fucking, cry about it. But you'll look at some of the old films and you'll see a guy that's trying to exhort his partner who's being beaten up in the ring to make the tag. The guy has his left hand on the top turnbuckle and his left arm stretched out straight and his right arm stretched as far in the ring as he can with his hand going, come here, come here, come here, to signify that he's touching the buckle and he's reaching as far as he can. And please, it's only a few more inches, right? And the people are getting, please reach a few more inches, make the tag. That's how you milk it. So tag rope, not necessary if you're putting your hand on the buckle, whatever. But that's, the rules of tag team wrestling are not so restrictive that you can't have an exciting match. It's the same. Remember when they said, because it's tag matches, they have a 10 count now to break instead of a 5 count? Where did that go? You remember that from about a year ago?
I don't remember that, no.
Oh, you don't know it was over. It was more than a year ago now. It was when they first went on the air. Go back or ask some of the AEW fans. The thing was they announced that the rule was changed when you make a tag instead of a 5 count to get out, you've got a 10 count because it's a tag team. So you can double team for 10 seconds. And then they forgot about that too, like they do everything else. But when you make a tag, got a 5 count to switch. Tags are hand to hand with one guy holding the tag rope, and you can't be standing on the bottom rope. Both feet have to be on the apron. This shit used to be written down and printed in programs that the promotions would disseminate around, so everybody was with it. But 2 feet flat on the fucking ring, holding the tag rope or the turnbuckle, and the tag over the top rope, you can't reach through the ropes. And hand to hand. That way, you had little things that you could do where the heels would try to, the referee wouldn't allow the tag because the heel reached between the second rope and the third rope instead of over the top, whatever the fuck. It's rules, basic, simple, not complicated, but some parameters, some guardrails for the highway you're going down so that it gives the impression of a professional sport with some restrictions. I don't know what else, but now it's just a goddamn clusterfuck stunt show where everybody does everything and there's a referee standing there watching it. That's why it all looks so silly.
That's right. And usually that referee's bald.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's all the worry. It's all the worry these referees go through cause them to lose their hair. They're always worried because all these guys are doing shit and not paying any attention to them.